On December 27, 1892, Livingstone and Biddle College, now known as Johnson C. Smith University, played in Salisbury, North Carolina, with Biddle winning 5-0. Over time, HBCU football has evolved. HBCU football's popularity continues to rise. Millions attend games each year and millions more watch on television. The HBCU bands provide some of the top entertainment in the country. Over that time, some of the best players to ever play in the National Football League played at HBCUs. Every Monday through Friday on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, national radio and television host Donal Ware takes a look at what's happening in HBCU football and talks with coaches, players, administrators, and media about the season. Make sure you join the conversation on social media. Now, here's your host, Donal Ware.
You got it locked to the HBCU Football Daily Podcast for today, Friday, August 11th. I'm Donal Ware. Wait for it. It's Friday. And I'm going to tell you what, we're up against the weekend. With it being August the 11th, that means we are just 15 days away from the start of the HBCU football season. We're going to end the week on a great note. Say hello, of course, to T.C. Taylor, the new head football coach at Jackson State at his alma mater. Of course, we had Raymond Woody Jr. on yesterday, the head coach of his alma mater at Bethune-Cookman, but T.C. Taylor, first season as the head coach at Jackson State, as he joins us here on the program. What's going on, Coach Taylor?
Oh, man, everything good right now. Chopping at the wood, we're in training camp mode. These guys are getting after it. I'm excited, man. Looking forward to kicking off in Atlanta here coming up soon.
No doubt about it, at the MEAC SWAC Challenge taking on South Carolina State. Let me start here. What does it mean to be the head coach at your alma mater, not only at your alma mater where you play, but where you also had success on the football field?
Oh, it means a lot. Anytime you can get an opportunity like this at a prestigious university like Jackson State, like you said, a school that I played at, grew up as a fan watching and able to go out there and lead these young men to, a three-peat, our third consecutive championship. That's what we're working towards right now. So I feel real good about it. I'm loving it right now, feeling the love around the city and the excitement across the country.
There's always a certain amount of pressure at Jackson State. Anyway, year after year, it. I mean, you played in it. The alumni base travels, the fans travel, and they, of course, support the team home-wise. You've been on the staff the last couple of years with the success to the point that you mentioned with Jackson State having the success back-to-back SWAC champions, and with Deion Sanders having been the head coach. Is there a sense of pressure now, particularly that Coach Sanders has moved on to Colorado?
Not really any pressure. I just believe in the preparation part. Our athletic director, Ashley Robinson, has done a great job of giving us everything that we need for as a program right now. We got upgrades to the weight room, the football field facilities, even the way we have nutrition for our athletes here. So they're giving us everything we need in order to be successful. And, that's the things we had in the past, and we're going to continue that going forward. Just how our coaches prepare on a day-to-day basis. They're doing a great job of that, getting the guys ready and going and playing at a high energy here day in, day out at practices. So, I'm excited about it, feel good about everything going forward. But I have to give a lot of that credit to our athletic director, Ashley Robinson, who's been doing a great job for us.
Yeah, and he's just signed an extension to continue to be at Jackson State. I know a lot. I know Jackson State as a community has got to be super elated about that, particularly
Definitely.
what he's done the last couple of years. Did you ever have an opportunity to go with Coach Sanders to Colorado? Is that something you even entertained if in fact you had that opportunity?
It came up a couple times. It did come up a couple times, what was next for me, and that was something that me and my family wanted to sit down and, make a decision as a whole. I always include them in these kinds of decisions, but this was the best fit for me. God wanted me here. I trust in God, and he wanted me to be here leading these young men, this great program in Jackson State University. So that's kind of who I lean on when it's time to make those decisions, as well as my family, and I feel like I'm right where I need to be.
Is this your dream job?
Anytime you can have an opportunity to be a head coach is a dream job. This is a great opportunity that a lot of coaches don't have throughout their careers. It's something that always aspired to be. I wanted, when I was just a position coach, I wanted to be the best position coach I could be. Then I had the opportunity to be a coordinator. I wanted to be the best at that. And now this is the next step, I think, in my career, as far as being a head coach here at Jackson State. So, it's a great opportunity. It is a great opportunity. And, I want to take full advantage of it and go out here and get these young men ready to play.
PC Taylor is the new head football coach at Jackson State as he joins us here on the program. Coach Taylor, fall camp, tell us how it's going to this point.
Man, it's going good. It's going good. I wish we could, practice has been closed. Everybody, want to get a peek of what's going on out here. We got quite a new flavor on the field with players and stuff, a new approach to the game. But I'm excited, man. The guys are moving at an unbelievable pace right now. The energy level is high. They're excited about playing football. We're in week 3 right now, so they're kind of tired of going at each other every day. They're ready to see some new faces, get under the lights and get after a little bit. But I think as a program, as a football team, we're right where we need to be. The competition is there, playing at a good pace. Coaches are coaching at a high level. So I think we're right where we need to be right now.
Yeah, you mentioned the practices being closed so nobody can sit. I think, you've got one of the best in terms of sports information in Dwayne Lewis. He keeps us abreast and he gives us the visual. So I know I can't see practice. I got it. But when I'm reading his stuff, it is great. And it leads me to my next question, because he had a fall camp report, I guess, last week. Jason Brown, Zy McDonald, Jacobian Morgan, all battling for that quarterback position. They all bring something different to the table. A couple of those guys are transfers. Speak to how that battle is going, and you would know that battle quite well as a former quarterback there. And then, if you had to name a starter today, is there someone that has separated themselves?
That's been a great battle to watch on a day-to-day basis. All 3 guys could go in other places across the country, I think, and be starters. And that's the luxury we got right now as a program, seeing those guys compete, on a day-to-day basis. The receiver room loves them. Our football team loves all 3, but we know as a coaching staff, we got to continue to evaluate and figure out which guy, can best lead this football team come this fall. And not only the number 1, but the next important piece is who's the number 2, because with injuries and things like that. So we got to have all 3 of those guys prepared for as I like how you tried to sneak that one in there, but they were right there in this competition. They all are taking equal reps right now, and we're just going to continue to evaluate, and, everybody will see game 1 who takes their field.
Dwayne Lewis has got you sharp, man. He's coached you. Done that. Nothing gets by you. That's good. I'm sincerely.
It's a good question, though.
Yeah,
it's a good question. It's a good question.
When I read that there were 70 new players, and listen, I know you got, and I know a lot of people probably sleeping on Jackson State for various reasons. The 70 new players, I was like, wow, that's a lot of new players. We got a lot of good players that are returning, no doubt, as well. How have a lot of these new guys kind of meshed in with the system that you're running?
I think they've done a great job because, that's the way this coaching staff that I assemble, we demand that on a day-to-day basis. We emphasize all summer that was something key that we had to get right, was the chemistry. And I think what everybody's kind of uncertain about, they've seen the talent level over the past couple of years that we were able to win 2 SWAC championships and what it's supposed to look like. And, just people hadn't seen really what we have now, until that first game when we put that out there on the field. But, chemistry was always a big focus for us. They came in here and done a great job of, meshing together as a team, and as well as those guys that were here on those previous championship teams. The standard is the standard, and we know the goal is to go out here and dominate the league, and work towards winning that next SWAC title.
Let me go back to the quarterback deal, because we're in Raleigh. You were at North Carolina Central for quite a number of years with a lot of success, a bunch of MEAC championships, specifically in charge of the quarterbacks. Any of those guys remind you? Malcolm Bell was great. Any of those guys remind you of a Malcolm Bell?
I can't say that because Malcolm was a 3-time conference champion. These guys have yet to, go out there and show that they can go out here and win, and that's the thing that I talk about them. I don't want to compare him to Malcolm Bell. You're talking about a player of the year, football player, All-American, and just was a great leader, great young man. He's doing great things now. He's, have his quarterback training camps, facility things going like that now. So I don't want to compare them to a Malcolm Bell, but they have the potential to be just as good. All three, Zy McDonald, Jason Brown, and Jacobian, has the potential, the measurables, and the way they approach the game day to day to be as good as Malcolm Bell. Yes.
TC Taylor, the new head football coach at Jackson State, joining us here on the program. I look at a guy like a DJ Stevens, a HBCU All-America coming in, a guy that's first team All-SWAC guy coming in. I can't remember, in excess of 30 receptions, if I'm not mistaken, for a tight end, which is really, really good. Can you speak to him? Because I think a lot of times, especially at the collegiate level, you look at, okay, there's a tight end. What is he doing numbers-wise? We always want to look at the statistics, right? But can you talk about some of the other intangibles, maybe his blocking and what he's going to mean to this offense?
He's just a good all-around player. What people don't realize, when I got here in 19, DJ was here on the staff before Coach Bryant. He's one of those vets. I call him old man. So he's played a lot of football at Jackson State, has a great family that's a JSU family as well. And he loves Jackson State. It's true to his heart. But just to watch him over the years develop as a football player, it's been a great pleasure to see what he's turned to at this point. He made a great play today, a great play on a touchdown dive and catch today, but he just brings a lot to the game for his leadership. Like I said, he done played a lot of football at Jackson State. He understands what it means to put the block on, has developed into a really good blocker in the run game and things like that. But what people don't realize, DJ makes a huge impact on our special teams as well. He's done that over the last 3 seasons here, but he's going to be a great player. I'm excited about to see what he does this season on the football field. I know Coach Mo has a great plan for him going forward, but a great leader on and off the field for us.
I don't think I saw where you had, and it doesn't always matter, right? But I don't think where I saw you had any preseason guys defensively. It's been some great. James Houston. Playing with Detroit, what he was able to do. It's been some great players. Linebackers all over the place the last couple of years. Who can we expect big things from defensively this year?
You talk about the preseason all-conference selections. I get it. We talked about those 70 new players, but there was a few guys that's returning off their team last year that had made some impact. Jeremiah Williams, a D lineman we had, is going to be a good player. Devontae Davis was on last year's team. Those guys are going to have been having a great camp so far. We got a couple of corners: Jalen Hughes, Kevrick Wiggins. It's quite a few names over there. I feel good about the depth over there. But those are some guys that we're expecting some big things out of, and as well as a lot of new faces that we brought in here from last year's team as well. Tony O'Doyle is having a great camp. The defensive end for us. So it's going to be interesting to see when we line up and come. What's that, August 26th, to see how these dudes perform when, like I talk about, they've been going at each other so hard. What are you going to do when you see that player that you don't know? That player that you don't know, it's going to be something to see when we line that thing up. But those are some guys that's been standing out and having good camps for us right now on the defensive side.
A couple of more thoughts with TC Taylor, the head football coach at Jackson State. I think it's interesting you opened the season, as mentioned, in what people would call week 0. August 26th against South Carolina State. Can you speak, though, to how important a game like that could be? Because the next week, you got a division game. You've got a division game, not even a conference game. You got a division game the next week. But is that important to play that week 0 going into the game against Florida A&M the next week?
It's the first one on the schedule. That's how we look at it. We'll get to FAM when that time comes, but we want to take care of South Carolina State first. I know from the past times that at Central, when I faced Buddy Pugh, Coach Pugh has put together physical football teams, and they're going to be ready to play. They didn't have as much success as they wanted it last year. Going 3-8, I think, as a ball club. But I know that first game, everybody's 0-0 record, and they're going to come to play. We don't want to start looking ahead. We know what that game means coming, that next week versus FAM. But we got to take care of business and understand that, that platform that we have on that first week on August 26th being on ABC television, and everybody's going to be watching. So I want to just go out there and play a good, clean brand of football, go out there and execute. And, I want our guys to move around like the way I know they can.
Last thought, Coach Taylor, and we appreciate the time. I mean, there's room, obviously, and there's thoughtful optimism. Obviously, across Jackson State is a lot of optimism, but maybe not as much as it had been the last couple of years across the country, if you will. I mean, you're there. You've got players that are returning. You've got 3 quarterbacks that all have college experience. However, you've been picked to finish second in the division. Do the players feel maybe a sense of disrespect to some degree coming into this 2023 season?
Not at all, because we have the title. Right now we're the returning champs. That's just stuff you're talking about on paper. The games got to be played. We're going to go out there and play football games. We're excited about the season, but we don't look at what people, a couple people in the room sit up and decide and put on paper. We got to go out there, execute for 4 quarters. We got 52 quarters to play this season. That's all the way through the Celebration Bowl, and we're looking forward to it, to just go out here and show what this football team is all about.
PC Taylor, again, first season as the head football coach at Jackson State, joining us here on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. The Tigers open the season on Saturday, August the 26th in the MEAC SWAC Challenge against South Carolina State. It's a rematch of the Celebration Bowl from a couple of years ago. Coach Taylor, we appreciate the time. Good luck to you and the Tigers this season.
Thanks. I appreciate you having me on the show. I had a great time. Go Tigers. Guard the yard.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. You can also listen to the podcast at BOXTOROW.com, iHeartMedia, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to get your HBCU football fix on BOXTOROW with Donal Ware each weekend on the radio station near you, and on SiriusXM on HBCU, Channel 142, and on ESPNU Radio on SiriusXM, Channel 84. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BOXTOROW for the latest in HBCU football, and don't forget to tell a friend.